What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Got a special client interview today with my guy, Karl. Karl's been in the program for a few months and has absolutely killed it. But, Karl, I won't steal your thunder. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Karl Carswell, been a scout for a long time, as well as a baseball coach, running a showcase organization and teaching hitting, professionally teaching hitting for the last 30 years. So it's been a great run.
Yeah. I appreciate you jumping on, dude. It's been awesome to watch your growth. You're just if somebody out there is following me on Instagram, they see your wins all the time and it's been super cool. Why don't you touch a little bit more into kind of your background and like what you were doing when you first came into the program.
Yeah. So right out of college, I started a baseball academy, quickly grew that to 20 teams and was helping kids get college baseball scholarships and had a great time with it. And because I knew all the players, I became a scout and was really just building my resume of how I did things and what I did. And got to the point where I just didn't enjoy having 20 teams and not be able to impact all the players. And then the more people you have, the more parents you have to deal with. So I spun that strictly into just teaching hitting, which I love. I love coaching. I love the interpersonal aspect of it. I love getting to get with the kids one-on-one. Had my own kids, so I knew I didn't want to watch other people's kids play when my kid was playing. And really started building a good living just teaching hitting one-on-one or in small groups. And then came across you over the last 2 months, 3 months.
Yeah, yeah. What where were you kind of at in terms of like your business and like your goals that you wanted moving forward?
I had maximized what I could do on my own. Like I knew I didn't want to have a bunch of employees and have everybody teaching different philosophies or trying to make them teach my philosophy. But I'd also become really efficient. So I went from teaching 6 or 7 days a week, 6 to 8 hours a day, to teaching 3 days a week, and really put myself in a good position. I felt really comfortable with as far as my time skills, my time management, and the ability to really have time freedom. But I also knew and the next thing for me was to either sell more time or figure out another way to do it. And so I was really looking for a way to add to what I did and also be able to still impact the kids the way I wanted to.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And I guess like when you came into the program, what were your expectations of like what were you hoping to get out of it?
It's a great question. I was really looking for a way to, like I said, maximize my time. And I was hoping I would learn, like, okay, if you use this specific app, you can do it that way. Or and here's kind of a plan of attack of how you could do it. And I had always had the thought of people asked me to do online training for the last 10 years. And it was always like get on a Zoom call and watch somebody. And I'm like, I'm spending an hour in the cage over there already. I don't have another hour to give you here, or half an hour. So I really just didn't know what I didn't know, and I was hoping just to say, "Okay, what is the secret sauce that you guys have that I can implement into what I do?"
Definitely. Definitely. And when you first joined in the program, like what were the things that we kind of determined that you needed to implement in order to get you there?
Well, I found out right away I needed to learn how to put a program together that would help impact the players I already had that I was using in my small groups on a daily basis. Like I pride myself in to be able to make a really help the players make a really good transition into what they need to do in an hour and a half, and 30 minutes. And then obviously I gave them homework, quote unquote, and some of them would do it and some of them wouldn't. I couldn't keep them accountable. So putting that program together and being able to use it with my existing clients was game changing. Obviously, I impacted the kids every day more. It was able to affect me financially where I was able to generate more, but it also helped me put together my plan for how I was going to put together a program when I wasn't with the kids. And that was what I needed. That was the second most important thing I needed to really uh, make a big impact from the remote training aspect.
Definitely. What would you say was the first important thing, the
The
most
first
important?
was this guy named Nick tell me I just needed to believe more. I didn't believe, right? That was the first one, right? Like, and I think I said it. You were doing a great job at the mastermind. You were asking questions, and I think I used the word afraid, and you were like, meh, like you wrote down something in your notebook, and you were sharing with someone else about what they needed to do, and I was like, hey, what's the one thing you got for me? And you were like, oh, I put down believe for you, one word. You need to believe, and I'm like, dude, that's like as a coach, as a person who's like, hey, let's go, get it done. Don't come up short, push, trust yourself, embrace some uncomfortable situations. And somebody tells you that, you're like, oh man, well, if I don't believe, then who's going to? And so it's time for me to turn it on.
100%. What other beliefs do you think you had coming into the program that have kind of changed as you've like worked with us?
So I believe that you had to sit down face to face with somebody online and look at their swing and watch them pick up balls in their garage and hit balls and try to figure it out that way. So that was the number one thing that was like, I don't ever want to do that. Like I can do that in person in as many hours as I do it now, and I'll be fine. I don't want to go home after I do that and redo it. So that was the belief that really slowed me the most. The other, I didn't have any beliefs like you can't do it online. I really understand that how the online works. I just didn't know how to I know how the internet works. I didn't understand how to translate into making athletes better.
Yeah, 100%. Would you say that was like kind of your biggest challenge throughout the whole process?
The biggest challenge was, well, that was not my biggest challenge. I don't feel like I have, at this point, have had a huge challenge. I've been very fortunate because I had a good sound base before, but that's what clicked for me, I will say, right? That's the thing that was like, oh, this is way bigger than I think. I got into it thinking, okay, I'll be able to supplement, make a little bit more. And then once I realized, oh, this is going to impact people and they're going to get it, then I just poured gas on the fire and made it really easy.
100%. What tactically, like what were the biggest changes that you made in order like when you kind of made that mindset switch?
Tactically, what I did was I just sat down and I said, okay, this is how I write a hitting plan for any hitter that I have. How do I get that from here to the platform that I'm going to use to get it to my players? Right. And then my next thing was, okay, they're at home, they're doing this on their own. How do I let them do that without having to say, hey, I need to talk to you right now for every swing? And it made it really easy, like you get a chance to put videos together, you put the information in the videos that they need, and then you tell them we're going to have a group call at the end of the week, ask all your questions. That to me is the best way for them to be like, figure it out yourself. You know what to do, you see the drills, it's time for you to go to work. And this generation, they don't believe in that. They just want to say, hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? And it's, you know what? I've showed you how to do it. Now just go figure it out. Work on some different things and then ask me some questions at the end of the week.
Yeah. And you shared this actually on a group call one time because you did a little presentation that the reason why you transitioned your business to group lessons was because college coaches were saying that kids don't know how to get better in group environments.
Right. That's right. I did one-on-ones for a long time, up to about 2015. And then I needed to maximize my time. I need to be more efficient. I need to have more time for my son and my family and the things I wanted to do. And so as I was struggling with figuring out how to get myself from where I was to where I wanted to be, I just started asking customers what their thoughts were. And I asked a group of coaches that I've known for a long time. And to a man, each one of them said, these kids are not learning in groups and we don't do one-on-ones. Guys come from your hitting academy and hitting academies all over the country. Everybody's doing the one-on-ones and we don't do them. We do the smallest groups we have are fours. And so that made it easy. Instantly, I was like, okay, we're going to four. And by doing that, that was the beginning of me saying, hey, price isn't an objection. We're going to go to four. If you're not interested in what we do with four, then you need to go someplace else.
Yeah.
And
I
so I kept
think
my price the same. And I put people in the groups of four for an hour. So they were paying me for a half an hour, kept the same price, put them in groups for an hour, and took off running. That's been huge for me.
yeah. No, that's honestly insane. And it's super cool that like when you came in, like obviously a lot of coaches that work with us, like they have like limiting beliefs around like what's possible or, charging what you're worth or different things like that. But you have no problem being like, this is what I'm worth. And if you don't like it, then you can go somewhere else. What do you think? Like, where do you think that comes from?
I think it comes from two areas. The first is experience. Like I've done this a long time. And if you've any business if you've done for a while, you've worked and been like, I did all that work and I didn't make what I needed to make. It's not even about my value. If it's just sometimes it's just like I need to make X so I can pay Y. And I didn't make that. Why did I do this? Right. And as a baseball coach, as a coach of people, sometimes you do things for passion, you do things because you believe in it, and you want to impact. And that's super important. But when you do those things and you come up short financially, it doesn't make sense, right? So that was the first thing is like, okay, I know what I have to make. I want to have a college fund for my kid. I want to have a house. I want to have all these things that are important. I have to have a vital business, or I need to get another job. So I believe that I'm a premium hitting coach. I'm the best hitting coach in the country, and I charge a premium price. Some of that is based on where I am uh, in the location of the country. Some of that is based on the fact that I'm really good and anybody in the country can get to me now. So that gives me a chance to charge a price that's like a premium price because
Yeah.
I'm a premium hitting coach.
100%. Yeah. I absolutely love that. What for like maybe a young coach just starting out, like what would you say are some of the biggest lessons you've learned outside of like not being afraid to charge what you're worth?
The number one thing I've learned from this program, and I say this to people all the time, and then I just had to turn it around on myself, is have a coach or be a coach, but don't coach yourself. Right. So
Mm,
getting into this group, man, I was just able to say, okay, these guys know more than me. I got on a group call and it'd be like there's three dishes on the plate, right? There's the remedial dish where I'm like, all right, I'm past that. There's the remedial dish where I'm not past it. And I'm like, that's pretty basic. I'm not past it. And then everything else is advanced, right? So as I'm looking down there and I'm listening to you, and I'm listening to Matt, and Kyle has told me all this great stuff, and I meet Claude, the staff is doing a great job. I'm seeing other people who've done it. I'm taking your coaching and I'm taking their information and I'm saying, okay, how does this fit me? But without you coaching and pointing and directing, I would have never gotten to that point. So
yeah.
that's the number one thing for those guys. If you're coming in here and you think you can do this on your own, good luck. It'll be the same as your hitter or your pitcher saying, I don't need you anymore. I can do this on my own. Yeah, they're going to figure something out, but not nearly as quickly, not nearly as efficiently, not nearly as concise, and they won't be able to maximize themselves because they can't see them.
Yeah. Yeah. I think one of the best things I've ever heard, and you just said it, is like you can't coach yourself, you know, because you don't have that perspective. So I think that's awesome. What let's talk like real tangible stuff. Like in terms of results, I know you stopped counting, but like what has really come as a result of you joining this program?
So the first result is my players are consistently getting more work in. They're coming back to the cage more prepared to do their work. We are in November and I'm already excited about, okay, we've made bigger jumps than we've ever made in the past and being ready for the season and how impactful they're going to be on their teams. So that's the first thing. The reason that I implemented all this was obviously to impact players, but importantly for me is impacting myself financially, more time freedom and make money. So by just implementing the basic structure of the hybrid program, not touching on DMs, not touching on the things that are going on that allow me to do a remote program, I've been able to impact my business to date $69,000. And I still have open invoices that aren't due till tomorrow, that aren't all due till tomorrow. And when everybody comes through on that, it'll be closer to over 75,000 over the last 90 days. So that's pretty impactful where I'm from.
That's insane. Dude, that's actually insane. So, okay. So you're telling me that your athletes are getting better results. They're more bought in, they're doing work on their own now, and you're making more money. What's the
Yes.
catch?
Honestly, the catch for me is this. I've had more people say no than I've ever had. And that would be
Oh,
the catch for everyone else, not for me. Because the 75 that I'm talking about, that 75,000 is additional income. That's over and above what I was going to make anyway. So I've created a much more sustainable, growable business. But because of that, for the last 10 years, I've been sold out over and over and over. This year, not even the year, this season, I have 4 spots available and my program started this week. So will I sell those programs out? Sure. But typically they would have been done already and I'd have just moved on. But I know it's price point, right? And that to me means I'm charging a premium price, right?
yeah,
I was undercharging those other years and it wasn't a low price, but obviously I wasn't getting enough no's. The pain point wasn't good enough for those folks to feel like, maybe we should do something else. And I
yeah.
think they should do something else
Why do you say that?
because if they're not willing to pay, those who pay attention. They need to go someplace for a lesser price and get what they want. They want a daycare. They want a 1/4 program. They want something that just says they hit so they can get ready for the season. I look for year-round hitters. And let's be realistic about this. People go play on showcase teams. They spend, in my area, they spend anywhere from $3,500 to $6,500 for a showcase team to go out and run around the country and play. And if you don't hit when you go there, you're not showcasing. So the skills and the tools that we have that we're producing and making better are the most important skills and tools, right? There's 5 of them, right? I'm 20% of it, and really more than I'm 40, because it's hit and hit for power. So I'm 40% of their tools. It's important.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy how there are so many athletes out there who will spend all this money on recruiting and showcases and things like that. When they get on the field, they suck because they didn't train.
Yeah. I
Isn't
call
that
that bad
crazy?
parenting. That's bad
Good.
parenting, right? Like we've created this USSSA model from 3rd grade to 9th grade, where
Yeah.
it's all about
Genius business, by the
trophies.
way.
What's that?
Genius business, by the way.
Oh,
Not taking anything away from them.
no, the business model is great, right? But the customer is now so blinded by winning a ring or getting something free from the end of the tournament, playing 7 games in a weekend and $50 parent at the gate, parent fees at the gate. And we've totally skipped development, right? And they call development a showcase camp, or they call development a practice a week or whatever. But we know hitting is one of the hardest things to do in the world, right? Throwing strikes isn't easy. Fielding ground balls, not easy. So we need to be spending more time learning those things than playing games. And the game should be special. They should be fun. Kids are bored at games now. They're like, this game doesn't count. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
why are we doing all this work for you to come out here and not enjoy it and not care?
Yeah, they play almost too much. They play too many games for it to mean something.
Right. And
It's
definitely
too
too many
many
in
of
a
them.
48-hour period, right? Like, I don't want to get up on Sunday and play 4 games and win a championship. Like, it's not fun. Like, the fun is gone after game 2, and your mom's trying to get you a turkey sandwich, and you just want to lay down and drink some water, and it's 105 degrees in the shade. But we're
Yeah.
still doing it.
Yeah. So you think there should be a push for development in youth sports in general? I mean, obviously you're in baseball.
Yeah, youth sports in general, but I would tell you in baseball, we would have less arm injuries. We'd have better players. We'd have more healthy minds and fresh people who are interested, had lots of enthusiasm. And it wouldn't be about fail or succeed. It'd be about, oh, I understand. Here's where I am. I'm 15. And I'm trying to play a grown man's game, and the best players in the world are 28. So how am I supposed to be good? I have a ways to go. Right? And just take your time and quit telling these guys they're superstars at 15.
Yeah, because they're not.
No, no matter how good they are, right? All we got to do is bump them up a level and say, go get them, and they'll get destroyed.
Yeah, put a 15-year-old in rookie ball.
It's over, man.
100%. I want to talk a little bit about the in-person event. I know we kind of touched on it a little bit, but how was your experience there?
I had a blast at the in-person event. First of all, meeting everybody was fun and incredible, right? But then hearing their stories firsthand, the way you set up the in-person event where we all introduced ourselves and kind of talked about the direction you directed the flow of it, to talk about it and to expose everybody, opened up, exposed themselves to the group very quickly. That wouldn't normally happen, right? Like it was obviously thought out. Okay, Nick's like, how am I going to get people involved rather than me stand up here and speak for them the whole time? So I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed it from a speaking perspective, and then I enjoyed it. I learned more listening to other people and what they're doing, and I can quickly point out, oh, you need to do this. Hey, you need to do that. And then I go ahead and I kind of look at myself and go, okay, how come you can't figure it out for yourself like that, right? Well, you can step back, and then hearing those voices helps out a ton.
100%. What who do you think when you met there made the biggest impact on your perspective?
On perspective, that's a great question. The 2 people who made the biggest impact on my perspective, you with the statement about belief, which there's 3 people actually. Matt, when he did his presentation and said, man, like, I'm testing this, and Matt is unbelievable at what he does, right? But in my mind, I'm like, dude, I paid you to not test this. I want you to get it right. Like, I want you to tell me what to do. So I had to step back. And I told him too, after he's done, I was like, dude, I'm kind of pissed at you right now. But the truth is, that's all we're doing. We're practicing. Lawyers are practicing. Doctors are practicing. We're practicing. And so you with that statement of belief, and then the fact of the matter is this: you spent 2 years, that's my number, it could be more, it could be less, really filling yourself with everything it takes to promote, market online, learn how to do it, and teach others. I've spent 30 years teaching hitting. I'd be stupid not to put myself in a position to learn if I want to market from you right now, right? I used to tell people when I was younger, if somebody showed me how to do it, I'd be great. Well, here I got a guy showing me how to do it. Now I need to go be great, right?
Yeah.
And then the third, and I've reached out to a lot of guys on this. Actually, there's way more than one, right? I reached out to a lot of guys in the program and asked them questions and got a feel for their businesses. I had a really good talk with Connor and gained a more calm perspective over, okay, this is how he's doing and how he's going about it, and his background and how it works, and was able to, I don't want to say mesh that with what I do, but able to say, okay, that's an angle that I can go that makes a lot of sense for me. And then the other guy was Ian. The way Ian does it, and the things that come out of his mouth so freely and easily, I'm like, dude, are you serious like that right now? Like, he's an influencer. Awesome. He knows who he is, right? I'm a coach. Awesome. I know who I am. I don't have to be him, and he doesn't have to be me. And we're going to have two hella good businesses.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, I've actually heard this before where people are almost have like a scarcity mentality, right? They're like, there's 14 online coaches out there. The market's saturated. What do you
Right.
have to say about that?
We're not even close to, look, there will be no saturation of this market. When I was 30, which is 22 years ago, a guy told me, Karl, I'm getting out of this business. And this was the baseball showcase business. In 2 years, there'll be one of these academies on every block. And that guy was, at that time, that guy was like going on 50 and I was going on 30. I'm like, oh, guy, you don't know what you're talking about. He's right. There's a showcase academy everywhere, and there's still not enough places for players to play. There's still not enough. So we are first to the market on this internet remote training business stuff. And we're not even a drop in the bucket to what can service the people out there who need what we have. Right. And I can't even service the people who know me that need what I have, let alone the people who don't know me yet. Right. So I like anybody who's got a scarcity mentality, that has nothing to do with the market. That has nothing to do with their skills to coach. That has to do with their mindset. And they got a lot of work to do for themselves to get through that, which is a reason why you may want to be at the mastermind, right? It's a reason why you may want to get into the group, get on the group calls, right? And as you get in there, and there's guys who've never done a lesson before, who've never done any internet, they've never had an Instagram channel, nothing, that are figuring out and making sales and coaching kids. So anybody who's been out there and has done something should be a no-brainer.
Yeah. What I know you mentioned the group calls a couple times and things like that, but like more like in the weeds, like what is the actual program like? Like what is it like to be a member inside the community?
Controlled chaos. if you're working, it's controlled chaos. So for me, I'm a big, like, I need to take everything in, right? So you have the videos, get into those videos, you're watching them, and you come to the group calls, and there are some very strong directed group calls where we're talking about topics. We're talking about selling through the DMs. We're talking about creating content. We're talking about how to answer objections. All that stuff is great. But when I'm in there and I'm watching videos about the very first stages of the program, and then I get into the call, I'm like, they're talking about something I don't even know if they're where the hell they are right now. They're way over there. And I had to like step back and say, okay, the group calls are great info, and really what they are is encouraging. Great info that is encouraging. My study on the videos is what I'm working on right now. Right. And so I'm going to work through this. And then when it's my turn to ask a question, ask a question. And where I became comfortable is people had questions for me. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that validates that I have something to offer here, and I'm a part of this community. I'm going to give some things to these people. It made me more comfortable, because anytime you're participating and giving value, then you're more comfortable. And I felt better to ask people after that as well.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. What what would you say is like for somebody like outsider looking in, like what can they expect?
They can expect what they put in.
Mm,
If they come to this program and watch the videos and show up at the group calls, they will have success. And the group calls and the program are set up to give you information. And what it does is it exposes your weaknesses, right? So once your weaknesses are exposed, then you have a choice, right? You can move forward and embrace those weaknesses and put your program yourself to back your program, or you can step back and slow down. And I'm sure you've seen both, right? And I'm the way life works is it works like this. It doesn't work linearly, right? So it's okay to slow down, but you need to slow down and recollect. And when you feel yourself slow down, ask somebody for some help. Get on the group call, DM somebody. There's 4 guys on the staff that I know of right now. If you ask them a question, they're going to answer, right? Most of us don't want to be called out, but the whole goal behind being in a community is that there are people there that can say, hey, wake up and get to work. You can do this. And nobody, I haven't heard anybody say that, but I sure as heck know this. When a guy gets on and says, hey, I made $50,000 last month, that's a wake up call. Like, how'd you do that? I want to know more. Right. A guy says, hey, I made my first call, my first sale for 250. If I hadn't made a sale at all and somebody said I made my first sale for 250, I need to know more. Right. And so just get in and pour yourself in. And if you don't want to put in that kind of work, then you've wasted your time and your energy and your money. And I would bet, knowing Nick, he doesn't want your money that way.
if you're lazy, please do not book a call with my team. You're wasting their time.
No doubt.
um, maybe more specifically, like who would you say that this program is 100% for? Like if they're watching this right now, they're like, oh, this Nick guy, I don't know, he might be an internet scammer, blah, blah, blah. Even though he had a bunch of people at his house and shook their hands, he might be an internet scammer. Who is this program for?
This program is for people who have some skills in coaching or in playing, have some passion for kids and families. They want to impact people. And also, they want to be able to say, I impact people, and that's all I have to do. I'm not interested in part time. I'm not interested in piecemeal. I'm interested in doing this full time and investing in myself and my players. And if your full time is 20 hours a week, I support that 100%. I'm not talking about full time, 40 hours a week with overtime. I'm talking about putting in a concerted effort where you can concentrate on building something from where you are to where you want it to be.
Definitely. Yeah, and everyone's definition of full time looks a little bit different, right?
For
You know,
sure.
some people think full time's 40 hours a week. I say I do that by Wednesday.
Right.
On the flip side, who is this program not for?
Oh, anybody who quitters, complainers, and people who just aren't happy people. There's no place for them, right? If you're a coach, you're somebody who is set up to impact young people's lives. So if you're trying to tell kids, hey, you need to be more aggressive, you need to be more tenacious, you need to be more responsible, and you're a quitter, you're not responsible, you're not mature, then why are you going to fake it? And you can't fake it. You're going to come in here, you're going to get exposed, and then somebody's going to have to hold your hand, or you're going to leave the program saying it doesn't work.
Fire. um, what would you say to somebody who's watching this right now? They're binge watching my YouTube channel and they're on the fence a little bit, like not sure if, you know, they're if like this is for them.
If you binge watch the channel, you already know it's for you. And the question is what's holding you back? So it's probably the money. And I would tell you this, if you put the money in and you put the time in, you'll make your money back by the end of the week or 2 weeks in. You'll definitely have an idea of how you'll make your money back. Then it comes down to execution. Like I honestly couldn't, I knew the day that the first call I got on, I was going to make my money. I already knew how, I knew what was going to happen. And then the rest was easy. Like you said, hey, you need to go get some guinea pigs. I'm like, I got those. Right. We went and
You
did
got
it.
plenty.
Yeah, let's go. So I think if you're doing $100 program, I think you can figure out how to make your money back. If you're doing a $500 program, I think you can figure it out like right away, and then you just get to work. Like if somebody said to me, hey, you give me X amount of money and you'll have it back in 30 days or 60 days, I would do that no brainer every time, right? You have it back plus you do it, no doubt. Well, the question is, you're not giving this money to Nick. You're receiving information from Nick. It just so happens that you have to give money. So the information is worth 100 times more than the charge.
Appreciate that. I think so too.
For me right now, it's, whatever it is, you do the math, 75,000 and 4K. You do the math, how much time it's worth. But the problem that math is this, that's just this 90 days. I'm going to flip that around in the next 90 days, and I better do some more. And I'm going to flip it around another 90 days after that. I'm going to do some more. So what I've got for $4,000 is a lifetime.
Yeah. I love it. We just price dropped in the interview. Fuck it.
Hopefully it's more by now.
Yeah. If you're watching this right now, it's probably more. But what are I know you kind of hinted at it, but like what are your plans for the future?
So I'm going to be dropping a remote program specifically for players that aren't hybrid with me all over the country and hopefully all over the world. I'm going to drop that on December 1st. I'm going to do a little like waiting list type of, hey, here it comes type of deal. We're going to drop it on January or December 1, run that through February, and just continue to grow and develop that. And I feel like that program right now, I'm really happy with where it is. And I feel like it will grow and only get better. I personally have reached out to everybody in that program who I feel like has got something to offer that I could add to my program. And I've just asked them, I said, hey, I see you do this really well. I see you do training, like this type of rotational training really well. Do you mind sharing with me what you do? And guys have asked me the same thing about the hybrid. And I think that's one of the reasons why guys have a chance to be so successful, because there's people in the program who've already done it. And you don't have to feel weird about cold DMing them on the side and saying, hey, you don't know me, but will you show me how to do this or that? You can just say, hey, that guy does what I like, and he's in the program. And then you just ask him, right? And I always say, hey, what can I do for you? Like I say that, what can I do for you? Sometimes I can do something, sometimes I can't, but I sure as heck feel better about it than just saying, hey, I know you're making some money down there. Can I take your ideas?
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I think there's almost like a fraternity like feeling when you work with other people who have also invested in themselves in a similar situation. You
I would
know,
agree.
but cool. What any last pieces of advice or anything that you want to say while the camera's still rolling?
What first thing is thank you, man. It's been a great ride. You, Matt, Kyle, Claude have been incredible. The fact that I got in my time frame, and then you're doing an event, and I have the freedom to go and do that event while my business is growing and things are going on is a lot because of what you guys have provided, right? Like, would I have been able to do that before? Yeah, but I was able to do it this time and say, man, this is an investment in my business that I've already invested in, and it's already paying off. So thank you so much for that. And then to anybody out here watching is interested in kicking tires or have an interest or have seen this, when you see this video, whatever the investment is, all you have to do is ask yourself, how long will it take to make that back? Plus, and if it's less than 90 days, give the man the money. Period. Because in the 90 days that it takes you to make your money back or plus, you'll be getting that for the next year, 2, 3, 20 years. And it's going to be, it's invaluable.
I appreciate you so much, Karl. Last thing, what was your favorite dinner?
I loved all the dinners. So Ocean's 44, I liked it. My son was actually at home taking his girlfriend to dinner to our favorite restaurant. And I sent him a text, was like, hey, we're going to Ocean's 44. And he's like, dude, like seriously? So like that was one of our places we like to go when we're visiting Arizona. So that was great. The second dinner I liked, and here's why I liked it. Like the food was great, but sitting around and the first night was for me, a little stuffy. It was like, okay, we're still getting to know these guys. People were tired from getting there at 4 in the morning or whatever. Night two was a really relaxed night. Um, you know, eating as much meat as you want to eat. That's always awesome. And I sit next to Coach V, Coach Callie's husband, and he says we talked hitting for about 3 minutes, right? And he said, "Hey man, at our cage, we have this thing where it's like either you're in the zoo or you're in the jungle. And we want hitters that come in there, they want to eat. They're at the jungle." And I was like, dude, I love that. That's like my favorite
That's
thing I
sick.
heard all week, right? Because we got to
That's sick.
talk baseball. But both those were awesome. But I also got a personal dinner with you and Ian, and the tacos were incredible. But
There you
also
go,
just more,
pops.
yeah, heck yeah. Also, just more about like, okay, who is this guy personally? Like, I got a chance to see a little bit more than most, and who is Ian personally, and it just worked out by circumstance and happenstance. But that was incredible, and so to me, that was my favorite dinner.
Yeah. Diego pops. You didn't like hot chick?
Yeah, Hot Chick was cool, but I was trying to talk, and we had some big business stuff going on there, and it was super loud. And I was like, you know
Yeah.
what? We need to go where I can hear. So
Yeah. Then we went to Boondocks.
yeah, it's a little less loud there.
Yeah. No, it was fun, dude. Dude, I appreciate you so much for jumping on and obviously like just being a beast. The best way to have a really good program is to have really good clients. So, thanks for making me look good. I literally just say like, here's what to do, and you did it. So sweet.
Well,
Um,
appreciate you, man.
of course. If somebody's watching this right now, where can they find you at? They want to know who is this guy who claims that he can make people money on the internet. And they want to reach out to you. Where can they find you?
I'm Karl Carswell, Karl with the K, Carswell with the C, and I'm at Damage Hitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Find me on Instagram the quickest. Give me a DM, and I'll send you the picture that I have of Nick that has scam across his chest that I took at dinner at Oceans 44.
Well, at least the people know now.
Now, when they see it, they'll be like, all right, that was a joke.
Oh, that's hilarious. Well, Karl, I appreciate you so much. If you're a coach watching this and you want to learn how you can expand your business by leveraging social media and online training, and you're tired of the guessing games, you want the blueprint, you want the shortcut, you want to learn from somebody who's helped hundreds of other people do the exact same thing, book in a call with me or my team down below. We'll get you started right away. But Karl, appreciate you jumping on, man. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you, man. Have a great night.